All right, we just got back from Rise of Skywalker. We had a vow of silence. No one was allowed to talk about the movie. No one was allowed to talk about the movie theater experience until now.
Okay.
Where do we want to begin?
Welcome. My name's Neil.
And I'm Justin.
I'm Jason.
So this is the first movie review that we've ever done.
Right.
I think together. I've done one with Dad a couple of times, but how do we want to start this? So let's talk about the movie experience first, as far as the specific theaters that we were in.
Okay, so we bought tickets for the 9:45 at night Saturday show.
Yes, in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
So, I mean, that's day 3, right?
Yep.
So you're thinking Saturday night, yeah, it's kind of late, but it's still Saturday night on day 3. So we show up 2 hours in advance, maybe just under that.
Yeah.
We were there quite early. Not a soul. We walked into the movie theater. There wasn't anyone buying popcorn. There wasn't anybody buying drinks. There was nobody.
Literally nobody.
So, and we just walked in. We could have got in for free, like we were talking about in the car. So we just sit there for a bit, wondering what to do. And then we go and ask the 2 teenagers that are basically working at the front, hey, do we need to come back for a lineup? Like, do you think there'll be a lineup? And they talked about it for a bit, and one guy was saying for a little bit, maybe we'll put up. And then the girl just overruled him and said, nope, we're not going to put a lineup. I said, all right. Yeah. So Justin looks up on his phone to see if he can buy tickets for that night. And surprisingly, he still could. So it wasn't sold out. So we're like, that's kind of interesting. You know, day 3.
Probably the biggest
Saturday night. Like, okay. So we leave and we come back. And I don't know, about 45 minutes before it starts, we're able to go in. And there's one guy there ahead of us.
Yeah.
One guy.
One.
So I think you were buying this guy when Justin and I were there. And then so this guy gets over here. So we walk in. And there's the one guy sitting directly in the middle by himself. So we go up to the back. And I think maybe a group of 3 came in after that. And then after that, it wasn't until there was like 10 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go that a couple people started showing. But that place was empty.
Yeah, I took a picture. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it.
There was nobody there for a movie. Like, sure, they're showing it in 3 theaters. Like, I understand that. And 9:45 is kind of late, I guess. But it's Saturday night.
And it's the first Saturday after the movie. It's 3 days after it's opened.
So I'm not saying this is an indication that the movie's not going to do well. Obviously, It's just very weird. I've never been to a movie that's the opening weekend, and you go to basically a prime time slot. It's like the night, Saturday night.
Yeah. And
it's that empty. I've never seen that before.
And we're talking about the last movie of this 3-part segment of this specific era.
It's a Star Wars movie.
It's huge. There's not going to be another one for at least probably 3 or 4 years. So you think there'd be more people there? At least a lot.
I was shocked.
By the time the movie started, the theater wasn't even half full.
Yep.
I would say maybe 25% at the most.
I thought it was going to be packed, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
Definitely shocking, for sure. But I guess we did talk a little bit about the volume level in the car.
That was the loudest movie I've ever been to.
Yeah, so I actually kind of want some feedback from that in the comment section. By the way, this is going to have spoilers in it.
Oh, yeah. So, spoiler alert.
Lots
of If you have not seen the movie, you should probably not watch this. Unless you want to be spoiled. In that case, keep watching.
If you haven't seen the movie, why are you looking up spoiler reviews?
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah, so let me know if you have seen the movie. Was it louder than normal, or maybe that was just our theater?
Might have just been our theater. I don't know. I was fine with it once it got going, but when it first turned on, I was like, "This is loud," and it never turned down. But whatever.
A lot of ads, a lot of commercials, and previews.
That's what Justin was saying.
Overkill.
9:45 movie start, and it was well after 10 before.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
And there's ads playing before the 9:45 too. Like 10 minutes to go, they start playing the regular, like the guy that interviews the stars and stuff like that. And then they actually kicked in the real ads after. And holy frig, I don't know.
So like, it's a long movie. Yes. Where do we begin?
Do we want to start at the beginning and work our way through the movie?
I think that's probably the best idea. We shouldn't start at the end.
Or just jump all over the place.
Let's start at the beginning. So the first scene is... What's the first scene?
Okay.
Oh, it's Kylo Ren.
Yes.
And
he's going in a thing to the thing.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay, so what was the name of the planet again?
Oh, I wouldn't remember that.
Yeah, see, there's too many...
There's
too many, like... technical terms,
which
like words.
Planet?
The planet where the Sith planet is.
Yeah. It's not Enceladus. That's a real moon.
So basically, he's going there to find the Emperor, and he wants to kill the Emperor because the Emperor's trying to re-rise, and he doesn't want him taking his power.
Correct.
So what did you think of the imagery of that? I didn't understand how he was walking through like a structure that was like as high as my roof, and lightning bolts were coming out of it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what that structure was because it seemed like it was quite high, and then when he went into the structure, he went down a platform, way down,
with giant statues.
Then I'm not trying to jump here, but later in the movie, we see down in that area, it opens up, and it's not very far up to the surface.
That's true. It's not.
No.
So not only is it not far to the surface, there's not that giant thing that he walked under.
Yeah.
So I was confused by that.
And it was dark. Like,
was
and
very
obviously
dark.
on purpose, it's the Sith and stuff, and that planet in general is very dark. That makes sense. But it was too dark for the viewer. Like, I wanted to see a little bit more of the imagery in the dark, like not the darkness, but the, I don't know, just the evilness, I guess, around and stuff. So it was. I found it really dark. It was almost eye straining a little bit.
Right.
But it was it set the stage pretty good in that first scene.
In the beginning, though, I didn't really get the whole, okay, he's going to go kill the Emperor. To me, it came off as he needs to confirm that he's alive.
Yes.
Because at that point, so early on, it's not so much a certainty, right? And him being, one with the Force, he's able to basically follow, of course, what did they call it? Like a Sith beacon or the homing device that he had to use and he had to follow. I think it really just came down to, okay, I need full confirmation here of, if he's alive, because obviously he's the one that's been pulling the strings, the puppet master the whole time. But it was interesting to see him, hooked up to all the machines and everything that was keeping him alive. And you start thinking of the timeline in your head, think, wow, okay.
Yeah.
He's been hooked up to these things for a very long time by this point.
Also begs the question, if he needs these things to live, how does he still have so much power and able to do what he's done?
I think he was just doing his thing, had a great inner circle, and they all just stayed tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Said, we got our orders, but we're not saying who from.
I will say that regardless of what you think about the Star Wars world or ecosystem or whatever, they have some of the best villains in any fake world in any movies out there. From Vader to now Kylo Ren.
Right.
And
They're memorable.
They're extremely memorable and evil, audibly. Like Kylo Ren's voice when he has his mask on, it's like piercing. And what?
Okay, no, go ahead.
And I'm just gonna say, like, Emperor Palpatine or whatever the hell his name was, the Sith Lord. His voice is it's so deep and it's just commanding. Star Wars does a really good job with their villains. So
He's got the pro's voice.
he has a really pro.
If I had
voice.
that voice, the podcast we do would be amazing.
Absolutely.
This isn't a podcast. Okay, so I have a question. And there's probably like a ton of examples, so this isn't fair to nitpick like this. They were on the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi when he got thrown down the hole, right? And that Death Star got blown up, right? So how do you throw a guy down a hole? He dies when he falls down the hole. It blows up, but somehow he ends up on another planet with enough resources to build like 1 million ships.
Science, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, somebody found him. Somebody transported him out of there. But that's maybe something we'll just never know.
Yeah. And that's the kind of the problem with
Right.
the world.
But there's so many examples of that that's just like, okay, how?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever. Stories.
Yeah.
JJ
Have to
verse. JJ
assume-
verse.
I guess.
That's kind of the problem with the whole world, Star Wars world is, and other like
And
the
it's
Marvel
the same. It's
universe
the
and
same with the
stuff.
Resistance too. Like every movie, they keep getting beaten back.
Yeah.
How do they still have a fleet? Because they don't have any place to build ships.
I know.
They're always on some planet they're hiding out in.
I know.
Right? You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
It's like every time you see a scene in any movie where they're leaving a planet to go attack, it's always like the same couple like X-wings and then that big ship with the like bunch of thrusters. Like it's like I've seen this before.
Yeah, exactly. The scene after that was, I believe, the reintroduction of Rey. She was floating with
She was
some
floating
rocks,
with the rocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
doing her training or whatever. What did you think about?
That just instantly made me sit up in my seat when that happened on screen.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought, okay, and remember she mentioned about, the training and everything. I said to myself, who's training her? Like, it made no sense.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the camera panned to Leia, I said, She's not a Jedi.
Yeah, I
How
said that
the heck
too.
could she
I know.
train Rey? And I went right away. I was like, okay, this is a severe loophole. She's had no training. She doesn't know what the heck she's doing. She's gonna screw her up.
Like
This
she's
is not
obviously
good.
connected with the Force, which we've seen in previous movies.
But they did tie it up.
Yes, they did tie
They
it
did,
up.
yes, which is nice.
We may as well
But
go
it
there
still
now.
kind of left me,
One sec.
just wanting more. Like they tied it up very quickly. But I don't want to get into that yet. We're not
Yeah.
there. But I just wish they would have emphasized that
Mm.
better.
I feel like a lot of things were done quickly in this movie.
I agree.
It was fast paced, like bloop, 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 here we go, here we go, here we go.
Yeah. So stepping outside the movie and just looking at Princess Leia or Carrie Fisher, did you notice any changes in what was done digitally with her and scenes that they took from previous cuts of previous movies to implement in this movie? Because she passed away in real life. Did you notice the difference between real shots of her and fake
Right.
shots of her? Because I did.
Yes, you could definitely tell.
Have you ever seen any of the deep fake
Yeah,
videos?
like clearly the one when okay, never mind, I can't get into that yet.
Well, I'm like, there's definitely scenes where it's like, okay, well, that's digital, like
Yeah.
that's a fake. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job. She was in the movie way more than I thought she was going to,
Yep.
based on
Yeah.
what obviously happened to her in real life. So,
Yep.
definitely kudos to them for doing
Yeah,
that.
because when she passed away, they weren't working on this film; they were still working on the other
right,
one.
yeah. So, yeah, we can step back into the movie now. I just wanted to talk about that specific element because it is
Yeah, of course.
a big deal, I guess, in the world of Star Wars. So I don't remember what happened after that scene of.
The issue is, I almost wish I had a pen and a pad of paper when I was in there because there was so much in this that it's almost hard to decipher
It jumped
just
around
from
a
memory.
lot.
And it was fast, so it's
You know what would be the best example? The third Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire. So much crammed in, so many villains that when the movie finished, you're thinking, wait, what?
Yeah.
There's so much. And to be honest, as we were driving back here to do this, I was kind of reprocessing everything in my mind as to what happened in this film because there was so much contained. To be honest, it could have been spread out over more.
Yeah.
And they could have went more in depth in certain areas. Like the whole Leia training Rey. How long was that going on? How did that get started?
Exactly, yeah.
And right away I thought, okay, this is interesting. But
Yeah. Let's jump ahead a little bit since we can't. There's so much that happened we can't really follow the timeline of the movie.
jumping.
I just want to know, what was your favorite part of the movie? And if it's a big spoiler, whatever, just say it.
I mean everything's spoilers in this.
What was your favorite scene? What was your favorite part?
I don't know.
I can start it off if you'd like. 'cause
go
I-
ahead.
I know certain things I liked about the movie. I liked the music in a lot of parts. There was some parts where I definitely noticed the music, like when Luke pulls the thing out of the water. I'm almost positive that's the same soundtrack they played when Yoda pulled it out. Like I would almost bet $100 on it.
I found the soundtrack almost exhausting. It's like
It was a
every
lot of
scene-
stuff was overused.
Yes,
for sure.
I don't remember a part of the movie where there wasn't music or a soundtrack or something in the background. It was exhausting a little bit. There was just music all the time, and whether it was positive music or whether it was a dun 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 in whatever form, whether it was a flute or a whatever.
See, I like
It
the
was
flute
just-
one. When they were in, when
I did too,
When she
actually.
walked into the old Death Star where the Emperor was standing, where he was
Yeah.
poning people with lightning,
Yeah.
it was like a flute version of that score, and I did like that.
I
I,
did
thought that
too.
was really good. It was slower and
But like they had a lot of renditions of that same
Yes.
jingle, and I just found it a bit exhausting. Like I just wanted to, like if they're having a conversation, just have the conversation. Like I don't need 75 instruments in the background.
I think all the Star Wars movies have been like that lately.
I felt that one was way worse than the
Yeah?
other ones. Yeah, that's the only one that I noticed it in. To be fair, but my favorite part was those freaking waves. Man, those waves were pro.
Okay, if anyone knows me, they know I love digital water.
I know. Yeah,
Digital
water is my favorite
the
thing.
first time that they showed it and the waves were slowly rising up.
Yep.
What did it remind you of? Did it remind you of any other movie? Because for me, it was Interstellar
Ooh.
when they were on that planet that
Yeah.
time ran fast.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, and I'm like, heck yeah, those waves were amazing, and I like that whole sequence with that lightsaber fight between Kylo and Rey on that thing.
Right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was very well done. And the water and the waves just kind of added to the whole emotion of the thing.
It was different.
It fit very well. And then all of a sudden I had a beef to pick again when Han Solo shows up,
Yeah.
right? As a vision to talk to his son Ben. I thought only Jedi could do that. But then they kind of touched it up when Kylo Ren said, "You're just a memory." So I went, "Oh." So I calm back now.
But that's kind of the problem with the whole Star Wars universe is they can just do whatever they want and be like, oh, that was the Force. The Force did that.
Right. It was the Force.
So was that him switching back to the light side of the Force and allowing
Basically,
those memories to
yes.
come through?
Basically.
Allowing them to come
Because
through.
the mom died.
Yeah. But even when Rey was going to throw her lightsaber back into the ship, freaking Ghost Skywalker grabs it. Like, they can fix anything with the Force.
How can... Okay, I have a huge beef. How can I take my lightsaber? This is my lightsaber. I'm like, Justin's upstairs in the bathroom. He needs my lightsaber. Put it behind me. Justin grabs the lightsaber and he's got it upstairs in the bathroom now. Where did this force teleportation come from? It's
just, I don't know. It's the same thing with, I think it's the connection between the two. Because every time that they have...
And like, so they're having this discussion. One's down on the ground. She's up in the ship. So he can't see where she is.
Right.
But they knock over a helmet and all of a sudden he can see it.
Yeah, because...
So he can't see anything else in the room, but for some reason he can see the helmet when the helmet falls.
I think it's anything that they interact with because in his side of things, he was down and she hits a bag of whatever, seeds, and it spills
it's like
out,
cranberries or something.
and it spills out on her end where the helmet
So if
falls
any
on her
change
end,
is
it
made
comes
in the
out.
environment, then
Exactly.
maybe. Okay.
So
I guess I can handle that.
They just have this whatever connection.
All right, well,
between-
answer me this. How come she can jump over a 100-foot wave,
But she has-
but at the end of the movie, she's got to knock off a little piece of plate to slide down a hill?
that man, I laughed out loud when that happened.
Yeah.
Also,
it looked like a car hood.
If she can jump and do all this stuff, why doesn't she just like go there? Why does she need a rickety boat to go over the waves?
We said this wasn't gonna be all over the place, but that's how my mind works. So, in the scene where he comes after and they're in that desert place, and they're both having the tug of war with the ship, the transport ship.
Yep.
So why does he just let her go? Like in 2 scenes, he goes to where she is, like because he wants to get her, but he just lets her go.
I think because he said later in the movie that he was trying to provoke her and let her make the decision kind of on her own and make her realize her dark side within her. So he wasn't really trying to kill her or capture her there. He was just kind of poking the bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Beef time. Force healing.
force healing, yeah.
When did that become a thing?
Okay.
Did I miss the memo on
I
that?
knew that entire scene was going to happen except for the kiss. The kiss.
Me too.
The kiss was weird. You got Finn, who's basically wanting this chick for 3 movies now.
Yeah.
And she's just like, hey, I'm going to kiss this guy. He's been trying to kill me for 3 movies.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
It's like, oh, well, you
whatsoever.
had to give up your life to save mine.
But they're connected, man.
But I knew that was going to happen.
full
I knew
connection.
that was going to
Me
happen
too.
a mile away.
You could see it.
The scene would have been just as effective without it.
Yeah.
It would have been just as effective. Wasn't necessary, and he just basically...
I don't understand the kiss.
It made no sense. They didn't even really know each other.
They hated each other.
Well,
basically.
Yeah, definitely. You can look at it that way.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's
But
She
he
wanted it.
sacrificed himself.
She said, I wanted to be with Ben.
yeah. But
Like, I wanted to take Ben's hand.
so Finn likes.
But why does she want to be with a guy that she doesn't even know? She's never seen Ben. She only knows Kylo Ren.
But hold on, Finn likes her.
Finn,
That's the impression that we get, correct?
Yes.
impression.
Well, what about the end of the last movie?
Beep, 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 beep. Like, he wants a piece.
But Finn kissed that other girl.
Yeah, well, he's on the hunt. He's chasing and chasing and chasing, and every once in a while, you got to stray off the path. That's just how it is.
But that other girl's in the movie, this movie,
I know.
and I think she's wanting round 2 with Finn.
No.
I'm also going to point out that Finn and Poe have one heck of a bromance.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's a
snap.
major
Like,
bromance.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Unavoidable. They even kind of argued like a married couple at times. I was happy to see C-3PO in the movie as much as he was.
Really?
That made me happy, yes.
Oh, I was super annoyed.
What? I've always been a C-3PO.
Just
I don't
let him
like-
go.
See, my issue is not with C-3PO. It's with the guy who plays him, because I've watched a lot of interviews with him, and I just don't like him as a person.
really?
He's very arrogant.
Oh,
Oh.
I just. It's,
Is
you're bringing
Anthony-
too much of the past back. Like it's just time wasted. Just like remove him.
What? This guy's the same deal.
Yeah. Okay. The scenes with him are funny,
Yeah, but
There.
it's the past.
but he's pro past, and he also
He's pro-past. That's awesome.
if you're gonna show any of the two, let's get more screen time of R2 rather than C3PO.
What'd you think of the new robot?
He's pretty cute, but I mean, he's no.
He was ugly but funny, kind of.
What's the other one? The
BB-8?
BB-8. He's no BB-8.
No, BB-8's the king.
What about Babadook, whatever the hell his name was?
Okay, that little dude?
Yeah.
That little dude is by far my favorite character
Heck
in the movie.
yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any character in this specific movie that came close to likability for me, other than that little dude. I think his name was Baba or something like that. But he was awesome.
One thing that bothered me, well, actually, there's quite a few things that bothered me. I want to go back to Leia and how, everyone said she knows what she has to do, basically. And then she goes, lays down, says the word Ben, and dies.
Is that honoring?
What?
Is that honoring a character?
And to jump around, we found out that Luke had been training Leia.
Yes.
Upon the conclusion of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, that he had been training her, and she had become a full-fledged Jedi. Right. Although we've never seen her actually in a lightsaber battle, whatever. So how did she not have the strength to showcase herself to Ben instead of just say Ben and die?
I don't know.
Didn't that come off as just insanely light?
Yeah,
there should have been something else.
But if
there.
she was a Jedi, then why was she staying and hiding the whole time? I don't know. Like, she could have done a lot more than just sit back in the hut.
Something else that bothered me too. If she was a full-fledged Jedi, Kylo Ren would have sensed that and would have realized she was a threat, and he never once came.
And the
for
Emperor
her.
would have too.
They sense each other. They sense each other. They're all connected via the Force.
But I think the Emperor did, didn't he?
There was no mention of that whatsoever.
No.
Well, he did from her being a little girl.
Well, yeah, they separated the babies.
No, we're talking about Leia.
If we go all the way back.
Leia.
If Leia's a Jedi, how does the Emperor not know about it?
Well, I think he does.
No, he doesn't.
I think he knows, but she's no threat.
Why would they have never tried to
She's no threat
convert
because all she
Leia
does is
and
sit in the
so on?
base and...
Leia's too pure.
That to me just seemed kind of like a missed opportunity. Something else that really came off. Okay, going into this movie, remember I asked you guys about questions going in. One, Finn. How was he able to just, drop his stormtrooper helmet and say, I don't want to play with you guys anymore, and go do something? They kind of touched up on it when he ran into other people that had defected as well.
It was a feeling.
So,
of course, man.
But still, how come they did it and no one else did? I found they could have went into that a lot more, and they did not.
Well, I think that the part of the Force is you see the future, you see the possibilities, and...
But they're not Force users.
No, but I mean, like, the dead Jedi can see the future and stuff, and even some of the living Jedi, they can see the future, they know how it's going to happen, and they just have to kind of let it play out and just kind of, like, poke it a little bit so it happens.
Right.
Versus,
You're all about poking people. Okay, I got a complaint. How come the little boy from the last movie wasn't in this?
Okay, that's the biggest thing. What the hell? Why even show that in the previous movie?
I even brought that up when we were going to go see it. Like, do you think he's going to be in it?
Yeah.
He wasn't in it.
That was like, why show that? And why that? Okay, that was the ending scene of the previous movie, I believe. Right. Why even have that? What's the point of that? Like, okay, there's just not enough Jedis in general. I know a lot of people hate the whole Phantom of the Menace and that whole 3 series movies, but man, that was pro. They had so many Jedis. Mace Windu, heck yeah. We got to see technically 3 lightsabers or 4.
So
technically 4 lightsabers.
Was the orange lightsaber her own kind of deal?
I don't know what that was.
I think at the end she showcased her own. It was like a yellow.
Yeah.
I think she finally built her own.
Maybe.
And that's kind of the completion of your Jedi training when you're able to, fabricate your own lightsaber. Because before that, she had been using Luke's, and she was using Leia's as well.
Right.
Something else that I was a bit kind of because we didn't know Rey's heritage going into this film, and then we finally found that out. So okay, they gave that to us. Her name is Rey Palpatine.
Yes.
I went wah 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 wah.
Yeah.
And that to me just absolutely fell flat.
So obviously, one of her parents was the son or daughter. Obviously, if she's the granddaughter, then one of his kids was the parent.
Correct.
So he killed one of his kids.
Yeah.
And his kid's significant other. We don't know which one it is, right?
I assume it was the daughter.
The mom?
Because it shows him killing the guy and the daughter's behind him as he dies. So I assume that she goes away or he kills her at some other time or whatever. But I assume it was the daughter. His daughter.
So at the start of the movie, Okay, so maybe a second playthrough would clear this up. So at the start of the movie, he wants Kylo Ren to kill her.
Yes.
Yes.
Is he just puppeting because he knows there's a conflict with him and eventually she'll come to him on her own?
I mean,
because that's the end goal at the end of the movie is he wants her to kill him so that she'll become the Sith Lord.
well, I think that, like, that's the thing. All these dead Jedi and stuff can see the future, and maybe he can too on this side. So they're both kind of poking things, trying to angle people the right way.
So this is kind of like Return of the Jedi, but so why is it when she goes down, he's standing there? If she kills him when he's on the machine, she becomes a Sith Lord. But if she kills him with lightning 10 minutes later, she's a Jedi.
I know.
That's what I was actually going to bring up because the whole time he just kept saying, "Kill me, fulfill this."
I would have been like,
and she
hey,
didn't
bitch.
do it. Okay. and then
They would have been.
5 minutes later, she just kills him anyway. I was like,
Yeah.
well, why didn't you just kill him
I
5
think,
minutes
I
ago?
think because it was about the ritual.
But
he didn't
Ritual schmitual, yes.
Yes.
I would have friggin' opened up on that whole can of worms. Like all
Exactly.
those people in there. See, I did like that imagery though. When all those
Right.
like dudes were in
Yes.
the like thing and the big like kind of Game of Thrones type throne, I was down with that. It was good imagery. I like that.
I think another good imagery was when he uses lightning to go up to the sky. The shot of the camera coming back down on him with the lightning kind of going up over your head,
Right.
viewing it. That was pro.
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
That kind of bothered me a bit because here's the guy, he's unleashing lightning enough to take down the whole fleet.
Yeah.
Okay. But, oh snap, steal your word. She just picked up a second lightsaber.
Yeah.
I am done.
I know.
And
I
just like
definitely
that,
thought that too, yeah.
I thought that was so weak. Here's the conflict. The Emperor, he just drew the life force out of Ben as well as Rey. But apparently that didn't help too much.
Apparently he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. He just stood there. I can shoot lightning.
Yeah.
She picked up a second lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm
done.
going to take the force power out of both of you to make me better.
Dang.
But I'm still going to give you enough so that you can force heal her
Yeah.
to save her life.
I know. Obviously, and also, she can use lightning because we saw
Right.
that against the ship.
Yeah.
She never used it again.
No.
The rest of the movie, especially against her grandfather.
But she can't because that leads her down to the dark side. That's what.
She uses it.
Yeah, like that was the same as Return of the Jedi. He was trying to get. There was a lot of similarities between this movie and Return of the Jedi, like him opening and showing, "Hey, your friends are gonna die unless you like." All of that was the same.
right. Yeah,
So he's 0 for 2.
Yeah,
I guess.
absolutely.
He's more powerful than he's ever been, and he just got his butt whooped by some woman.
That bothered me too. You know, Kylo. Well, we'll call him Ben now because he's Ben again. He's down and out. He's dead. He's got nothing left. His life force is drained. I'm gonna totally heal her.
Yeah.
And he's way down a hole. How did he climb out of that hole?
He was thrown down that
Man,
hole.
we saw him go down like 300-400 feet, and then within 60 seconds, I climbed up.
And he can barely walk to her. He falls like 3 times, but no problem scaling that friggin' cliff.
Force
Yeah.
healing. Who the hell even showed them that?
Yeah. So
I never saw Luke do that. I never saw Obi-Wan do that.
That sounds like something out of a video game.
do you know when?
Luke Skywalker
got serious
could have.
beef
Luke
here.
Skywalker could have saved his dad with force healing
Force healing?
And why didn't he?
because it didn't exist.
It does not.
How come he didn't grow his arm back?
Exactly.
Or his own hand, you mean?
Yeah.
When it got cut off in
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, you know when she died at the end and she just laid there lifeless for about 2.5 minutes?
Right.
How come she didn't disappear? But when Kylo Ren died, when he transferred whatever,
He disappeared
He
right
disappeared in like 5 seconds.
Because he was accepted into whatever
Well, how
that
come
is.
she wasn't?
Because it wasn't her time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everything has its order, and they're just poke it until everything happens
Well,
the way they
speaking of
want.
that, Leia laid on that slab. We'll call it a slab.
Until she died.
I don't know what she was on, but she laid there for like several
That was amazing.
several hours, right? Because they're in a battle, they're fighting, and she's dead. Why didn't her body disappear right away? It only disappeared when Ben disappeared.
She was waiting for her son to die. That's pretty morbid.
That is kind of morbid.
I thought that was kind of odd. Normally, if you're a Jedi and you die, it's instant. Look at Obi-Wan in A New Hope. It was instant.
Yeah.
Look at Luke. You know.
I kind of like that scene though, with her. It was a good kind of send off for her in a
But-
way.
Right.
Okay, I have an issue with that too. So, I think it's what we learn at the end of episode 3, isn't it? Where he says there's a trainer you can go talk to that lets you live after you die or whatever, right?
Oh,
So that's basically how Obi-Wan in episode 4 is able to talk through like ghost form, right? That's the
Right.
first time we see it. Because in episode 3, he hears about a guy that can teach that through the Force. I'm pretty sure Kylo Ren would have never had that training.
well,
But
it
that's
was
pretty far in the-
Luke that trained him.
Yeah, like it's pretty far in the future. So
But would he have-
we don't know.
Obi-Wan-
But Obi-Wan never taught Luke that.
Yeah, but maybe Luke went to the dude, whoever that dude is.
But I think that dude was dead
Possible.
because Luke was the last Jedi.
Well, maybe this guy wasn't a Jedi; he was just a pro.
I mean, maybe, but if he's a pro that can teach you how to use the Force to stay alive after you're dead, that sounds like a Jedi to me.
There's a lot of loopholes in this universe,
I mean,
obviously.
I mean, we can nitpick. We don't need to nitpick
Yeah.
it that bad.
Right.
You could do this in any movie.
But that's but that's part of the review, though, to talk about
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of the nitpicky things. I think most of what we said has been negative so far, but just generally, did you enjoy the movie?
I enjoyed it. Yes. Would I put it in my top 3 Star Wars films? No, absolutely
I
not.
completely agree.
But I did enjoy it.
I did enjoy it too.
But there's
Special
so
effects
many-
were awesome.
There's so many things I would have done different. I mean, you look at the name of the movie. She's not a Skywalker. Like I'm sorry.
Until
It
the
would have
last-
made more sense if she had have been discovered to be Luke's daughter, which I really thought it was building towards.
Yeah, from movie one.
That would have made so much more sense. You could have wiped out the whole thing that it's Palpatine's granddaughter, and you still would have had the same effect.
Yeah,
I think it would have went over with fans even more.
but then the kiss wouldn't happen because they would have been brother and sister.
Get rid of it.
They
it didn't
friggin'
need to happen.
Luke-
Exactly.
It didn't
I
need to
know.
happen. It was awkward as hell.
It was awkward.
Luke and Leia kissed.
Oh yeah, they did.
That's nothing new to Star Wars.
That's true. They love incest.
And plus, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because, like I said, this guy's been trying to kill you for 2.5 movies. So what are you gonna do? Hey, man, I want to be with you. Like that. I'm not down with that.
No,
I even looked at you
it was
in the
sweet.
theater.
You
I was
did.
like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Like, I knew he was gonna save her. I knew he was
I
gonna
just put
die.
my head down.
I just
Like,
don't understand why you had to kiss. It's like, oh, thank you for saving me. Like I just don't get it.
Yeah, and then
That was the only part of the movie where I was really like, "What? Like this is dumb."
well, yes, and then a couple minutes after that, when she slid down the little hill and the little thing, when she easily could have walked 7 steps down the hill.
Yeah.
It seemed weird.
She was having some fun.
Maybe that was a throwback to 2 movies ago when she, one of the original scenes I think in that movie,
At the very start of the
when
movie.
she came down that big.
She was
Yeah.
scavenging
yeah.
for stuff.
So maybe that was a throwback to that. I don't know.
That whole ending scene. What was the point of even going back there?
To bury the lightsabers, I guess. but-
Why? Why there? It made
know,
absolutely
that's
no
where-
sense. And then, okay, she puts Leia's lights. Leia was never even there. That's Luke's home. She's been a princess her whole life.
That was Anakin's home.
Okay, I just thought of a whole new beef I had.
I thought that was Luke's home from A New Hope.
that was Luke's home. That's
Right?
where they. That's where they took the kids. Remember?
But that's
Luke,
Anakin's home
Luke
too, isn't
went
it?
to there because it was his uncle or something, right?
Well,
and Leia
yes.
went to the planet that got blown up in Episode 4.
Tatooine?
Yeah,
Tatooine.
I don't remember. And
But that's where
it started with an A.
Anakin's from, isn't it?
No, it was A. It started with A, didn't it? I got Star Trek terminology in my head
Yeah,
right
you
now.
do.
So, but like the planet where the Death Star goes the first time it blows up, that's where Leia's from.
Right.
Okay.
That's not Tatooine, obviously, because
Isn't that where Luke was from then?
no, Luke was when they were
Oh,
born.
right,
Remember
yeah,
they were
that's right.
born and they were twins. They sent Luke to go with the uncle, or that's what he
Yeah.
calls him, his uncle, right? And Leia went with the royal people. That's why she's a princess.
I thought
Yes.
Luke was like from Hoth or whatever.
Hoth is
Hoth is the
ice
frozen planet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, he's not from there. He's from the desert
Oh.
planet. That was his house.
So he's from the same place that Anakin's from? Because Anakin's from Tatooine.
Possible, then.
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I don't know nothing about Anakin.
I got so much swirling in my brain about this movie. But that was my instant reaction. Why would she go to Luke's house that he grew up in? It made absolutely zero sense. I'm going to go all the way here just to bury lightsabers. And I'm going to include Leia's as well, even though she didn't grow up there. It made absolutely no sense to me.
I think it was just to tie
whatsoever.
the story off. This is where it began. This is
Yeah.
where it will end.
And then they come and like embrace in an image like, look at our daughter. And then she just decides to take their last name. I was like, weak, absolutely weak.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all.
Rise of, what's the movie called?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. I mean,
Well, now we know
that's-
where the
that-
title comes from.
Yeah, but that's a pretty
Yeah.
weak title.
It's a weak way to get it. It would have made
Yeah.
just so much more sense if they had went the way I thought they were going to go, and she would have been Luke's daughter. It would have better explained their connection. Because remember in A Force Awakens, It was Luke's lightsaber that spoke to her.
Yes.
Why her? You know, to me, they never really connected those dots enough. Why did that lightsaber talk to her? Why didn't it talk to Ben? Why didn't it talk to someone else? Why her? Even though when it comes to blood relation, there's nothing there. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, and they always had that connection, her and Luke.
I don't know.
How old would you say Luke is in A New Hope?
In A New Hope?
Like 20 something?
Yeah, he'd probably be 20. He was young.
Mid-20s, I guess.
Okay, so how old do you think he'd be in this movie? Like 50, 60-ish?
No, I think he'd be like 65.
Yeah.
Ish.
So like 40 years have passed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
in 40 years, they took a Death Star to blow up a planet.
Yeah.
And in 40 years, they changed that technology to being a gun.
Man,
It's-
heck yeah, technology's exponential.
Like, that's unbelievable. That doesn't make... Technology doesn't work like that.
Yes, it does.
Because the people in the Resistance are still using those noob little ships. So if they can make that gun that big to blow up a planet, you think they'd have better shields and better guns and everything. And they're still using the crappy little crap they've been using
Well,
forever.
I guess that's because they're poor.
But how did they wouldn't stand a chance. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe, but
40
there's a lot
years?
of them.
40
Eventually.
years to take something the size of a moon and put it into a gun.
Well, think about how much RAM you had in your computer 25 years ago.
We're not talking about RAM. We're talking about the power to blow up a planet.
Well, think about the exponential of technology in our world.
Yeah.
And then you got freaking Star Wars.
Yeah, so they built all of those ships and all of those guns on that planet in 40 years.
Yep.
That's a pretty brutal thing to think
And that's
about.
the power of the dark side.
Yeah, how did you make them? Oh, we just did it.
Yeah.
More beef. The general for the First Order, who was the whistleblower helping the Resistance.
That part was dumb.
And then he said, well, I just can't have Kylo Ren succeed or Kylo Ren alive, basically.
Yeah. I don't care
And-
if you win. I just want Kylo Ren to lose.
And then in the next scene, they just kill him. I was like, wow, that yeah. Like, you just shoot him right in the chest. It's like, wow, this added so much to the story.
To
It
be
added
honest,
nothing.
That character, I completely forgot about because I thought he died in the last movie.
I really can't remember the character's name off the top of my head, but it just happened and ended within an instant. Boom, it was done. It was over. It was something else we haven't touched on yet. Lando. We got to see Lando again. Lando Calrissian. in
Lando
this
was very
movie.
happy in this movie. Every scene he's in, he's laughing.
Well, yeah, you got a payday.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I'd be laughing
It's like,
too.
let's go save Finn and that woman that are falling from that ship.
I think that was unnecessary to bring him in
But
this movie.
what did he add to the
That's
film?
what I'm saying. Like
His character added nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. It was just kind of, okay, let's throw him in there, throw back to the original Star Wars
That's
fans
why
from
he's in there.
77.
That's why he's there.
You know,
Yeah.
that's, well, a big reason. But still, there was a part of me that felt cheated. I wanted a scene, I kind of got the Don Cherry going here. I wanted a scene where we had Leia, Luke, Han, maybe put Chewie in there as well, even Lando, just the original people in the Millennium Falcon, and we never ever got it. I mean, it didn't have to happen in this movie, but still,
yeah,
they just decided we're killing off everybody that really launched this thing in 77.
Do you think they were so obsessed with bringing people back in this series of 3 because of all the complaints in the early 2000s 3
If you look at the first redo of the Star Trek movies,
in 2009?
yeah, so the one with the Romulan guy, that the dark matter blows up Romulus or whatever, and
yeah.
he loses his wife and he's pissed. So they had to have Leonard
Nero.
Nimoy play Spock in that movie.
Correct, because of the timeline.
And the reason why they said they had to have him in the movie was to make the old fans buy into it. So I think that's what this Lando thing is. It was bringing everyone back that they could throw in there. Because who else from the past are you going to throw in there?
Well, it's got to stop now. Like, you can't continue
Right.
to do it because Leia's gone.
Yep.
Lando's up there.
I could see this timeline being done.
Yeah, I
and
want
then
it to be
and
done.
then just going with different stories that occurred like parallel at the same time. That's completely unrelated. 'Cause they're definitely not done. You don't like they're rolling
not
right
done.
now, right?
Who in this series of 3? Who's your favorite character overall? Is it Rey?
No.
No,
No, me either. I actually don't like Rey that much.
I wouldn't say any of the 3 main are my favorite.
My favorite's Kylo Ren. I just think like you can portray happiness pretty easy. You can even portray comedy pretty easy, but Kylo Ren or that I don't know his name.
Adam
his
Driver.
villain. Yeah, Adam Driver. I just think that he's such a good actor. Like it's really hard to convey sadness and anger the way that he does.
Right.
And I found myself like buying into what he was selling more than any other character.
See, I'm the opposite of that. He didn't sell me on evil enough.
Really?
For me, no.
It was just a different kind of evil. It was just, I don't know.
Well, what
I liked
really
it.
stuck out for me was his just nothingness. There was never emotion from him. He was just like a machine, you know, like, this is my goal. This is the objective.
In this movie, it was definitely like that.
Yeah.
In I think it was the first of these, like Awakens, he goes ham in that. Remember how he learns some information, he starts hamming the room
Yeah,
up, and then he
see,
walks out, and all the guards just turn around and go the other way.
See, that's what I love because.
But he wasn't like that in this movie.
I know,
even
but-
when he was still kind of evil mode at the first of it.
But that's why I like him, because he's a bit cuckoo. Like, he'll have these bursts of just craziness, and then he'll just go back to this, like, you never know when he's going to snap kind of thing.
Right.
He's calm or he's whatever.
I didn't think his character was as effective in this movie.
I agree with that. In the last movie, I thought he was awesome. Like, that end fight scene specifically. Like, you could just see the anger in his face, and it's just... He's my favorite character, like, by far.
Also, throwing the lightsaber away, that was stupid. Why throw it away?
Which...
Because she wanted to go there to hide and disappear.
No,
when
he's not
Ben-
in the water.
When Ben threw his lightsaber away, Kylo Ren,
Oh.
after, you know, his memory with his father,
Yeah.
then he turned back to the light side and he threw it away.
And then he ended up needing
And then he
a
ended up
lightsaber.
needing it. He's in a battle with these guys. He's getting his ass completely handed to him. He's like, man, I wish I had that lightsaber.
That I just threw away
Threw it in the water.
45 minutes ago.
Don't you have a thing you can just turn it to blue?
Yeah, really.
Keep it. I mean, I understand it was symbolism, you know, throwing away the dark side.
Yeah.
But throw away your lightsaber?
How did he get off that planet?
He's a pro.
Yeah, that was another great question. She took the ship.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there looking at the waves. He's completely alone.
I don't know,
It's so
man.
riled up.
That's...
Maybe my expectations were too high. I still enjoyed it, but to me, it could have been so much better. And I can now finally understand some of the ratings I've seen.
So what would you rate it out of 10?
If I had to rate it out of 10, I would give it a 6.
I give it a 7.
I was thinking, honestly, I was thinking 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So I'll say 6.5.
I think if you try not to take it too seriously and you try not to overthink it,
Yeah.
I think it's entertaining. Like if you go there just to be entertained, to watch a movie for 2.5 hours, however long it is,
Yeah.
I think it does a good job. I think
I agree.
special effects are great.
Yeah.
It's fast paced. There's no lulls in the story.
It jumps around a lot, but there's no
It does.
super...
But if you're
dull
looking for
parts.
if you're looking to close the circle and to make sense of everything and closure and everything, I don't think it hit on all the marks. Some stuff there's just too many holes and too many things.
The universe is so complicated. Like, the universe is huge, and it's so complicated that it just creates so much more potential for loopholes. And you just end up picking up on it. Not in just this movie, the previous movie, and the movie before that. It's so massive and expansive, and there's just loopholes everywhere. And it becomes, not that it's believable, but it becomes less believable the more loopholes there are, because your brain is just like, well, what about this? And what about that? So...
Here's a question. Did it have that feel of a Star Wars film? To me, it wasn't so storyline driven. This one was just more action.
That's JJ. That's JJ Abrams. 100%.
Than anything.
You can say the same about the 3 Star Trek films.
And if you took out, you know, the sound effects, you took out the music, you took out the lightsabers, you basically have not a Star Wars.
I think
movie.
they did a good job with the villains.
Right.
Was this a Star Wars movie? Yes, because of what they did with the villains and stuff. But I think you're right. Generally, it lacks
I
a little
wanted
bit.
more storyline, you know, because that's what it was. If you look at episodes 4, 5, and 6, we became so involved with those characters. We, as the viewer, felt emotion anytime they went through hardships. I didn't feel any emotion
lacked
when
a lot
these
of-
characters went through hardships.
It lacked a lot of character development. Like,
Yeah.
halfway through the movie, Finn can sense what Rey is doing.
And that made me think, okay, does he have some sort of
Exactly.
connection with the Force? Or maybe that's the one little piece they'll use when suddenly episode 10 is announced And now he is a fully trained Jedi out of nowhere.
Maybe.
But still, that one. Remember when he pointed to the one Star Destroyer and said, "That's the ship," the sending out the signal. And
Yeah.
he's like, "How do you know that?" I sensed it. Or
Yeah, I sensed it.
what?
Do you like his character in general?
No.
I didn't in this movie. I did in the. I really liked him in the first one. I thought he was like he had some funny scenes actually,
Right.
not intentionally, but written to be funny.
I find the character kind of whiny.
Yeah,
to be honest.
And he went from kind of this dry humor character that I was kind of cheering for to this like you're just wasting my time on screen kind of character.
I actually think this movie lacked a lot of humor.
It did.
It did.
100%.
Like
Absolutely.
the little dude was the highlight of the humor.
Babadook.
Yeah, like,
Baba, whatever.
like when he was rewiring C-3PO.
Yeah.
Like other than that, I can't think of a movie or a part that was specifically funny.
They tried to with the new droid named Dio or whatever, or Rio or what I don't know what the hell the thing was called, but it wasn't that funny. Like there was a couple parts where like, yeah, but
Like I had no issue with him, but compared to the scenes
Yeah.
in the other movies, it wasn't like deliberate humor that I don't know.
because there was a lot in the first.
They missed
movie.
on that.
Right.
There was a lot of humor in the first movie, and
Well-
that's why that's maybe the most popular of the three so far is because it had most of the character development and most of the
Right.
humor, where this one's
Right.
more action based.
Oh,
And we see that with other
action-based.
trilogies too. If you
Yeah.
look at The Matrix, the last movie is all action based,
Right.
and the first one is total character development. And people like the first one the
That,
most because
that's
of
why I like the first one the most.
So
if I had to pick one.
There's definitely a pattern here. So you
Yes.
look at The Matrix, you look at Star Trek, you look at Star Wars. The older movies are slower.
it. Yep.
These movies are let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Constantly, we got to be doing something. We got to be doing something. We got to be doing something.
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of the reason why people may like and like we're I guess we're kind of an older demographic now. Do you think like the younger people, like teenagers and like low 20s, do you think they like the action stuff more now? Like maybe they look at the old movies and think that's dry. Like
Absolutely. But I generally don't think they give a shit.
really?
I don't care. I don't think they care about Star Wars. I don't think there's any. Like if you look at the demographic of people who were in the theater, there were some young kids in there, probably
Right.
mid-20s,
Yeah.
but
It was all older people.
it was
though.
all older people. I don't think young
Like
kids,
our age
they just
and
don't
up.
give a shit about that.
No.
I don't know.
Here's something. Just because it popped in my head. Did you notice they got their patented one-liner in there? I got a bad feeling about this because it's in every Star Wars film.
I didn't notice.
Lando got it in there when the First Order were coming. Yeah, he got that line in there. I was wondering who would say it. This movie.
And did you notice how they had to go through that like nebula looking thing?
Yeah.
They had the crazy path and they were dodging stuff, and then they get in there and it's like this super dark, like you only see the ships in orbit when the lightning strikes, and then they blow up the ships, and it's like a nice sunny day out there now. It was super bright.
Yeah.
Like how does that happen? It's like yay, we won. Let's make it happy.
Weatherman.
Weather in space. There's nothing. There was no new stars. Like it was surrounded by that nebula stuff. That's why it was hidden.
One thing I will say about Star Trek that new Star Trek that is better than new Star Wars is there's no sound in space. All these ships going into friggin' light speed or whatever.
Yeah, that's Star Wars though. Star Wars always had
I
sound
know,
space.
but anyways, no sound in space, just for the record. Also, back to the point of things being slow. I think that's why the series The Mandalorian right now on Disney Plus is doing so well, is because it's more story driven, it's more character driven, it's slower, it's at a slower pace. You've got, I think they're up to episode 9 or something on there now.
Okay.
So I think in looking at Star Trek as well, with the new Star Trek series coming out, I think more Trekkies will be interested in this series because it's not this J.J. Abrams run and gun style explosion thing. It's going to be more so about character development stuff.
We hope.
But I think they're going back to that. Even Star Wars is. I think they see a lot of potential there, and they're going to have to if they want to continue this series. It can't be this explosion driven, like in your face. If I want that, I'll go watch a Marvel movie.
Right.
I want some more. I want to relate to someone.
Yeah.
Do you relate to anyone in the Marvel movies? I don't.
So, I have a question. Maybe this was answered, but I don't. So, where is the First Order?
They're on that planet.
No, that's not the First Order. That's the Final Order. That's
The
Sith people.
Sith people.
So the First Order, who's been poning them for the first 2 movies, that have a huge force, they're out there somewhere.
They're everywhere.
And
man.
all you see is Kylo Ren chasing by himself, basically.
Yeah.
And then they go out to fight these Sith guys, the Final Order. But there's still the First Order out there.
They are one.
I don't know. Yeah.
But they weren't at that fight.
I don't know, man.
They have like...
Because remember when in the other movies when Kylo Ren was kneeling to the big guy on the chair? What was his name?
Snook.
Snook, or was
Master
it Smoke? Smoke?
Snook, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Smoke
It
is
turns
a
out
baseball
that
player.
was the Emperor. Remember, he revealed that? Like, he
Yeah.
was
Yeah, he said, I've
that
had many
person.
voices.
So he was the First Order. But that also bothered me, too. I'm thinking, okay, if all the Sith are in this place, why did the Jedi never go there before? And number two, why are they called Siths when they're not?
None of them are Siths.
No, but they're referred to as Siths.
Yeah.
They're not.
You remember
know,
this?
A Sith is a Jedi who turns to the dark side.
Yeah.
That's a Sith.
And who is the dude in? Is it Phantom of the Menace or the second one, where the dude with the cool lightsaber, the dual one with the red, he's got the cool mask with the things, horns.
Oh,
I forget
yes,
his
yes.
name.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
When I think of Sith, I think of him
Right.
because he is someone
Yeah.
who has the Force powers, who's
Right.
on the dark side.
Yeah, these were just four guys with like axe-looking things that look plastic as hell, and Ben now just shows up. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. But they're Sith. Yes.
Yeah. What'd you,
Sure.
What'd you think about the Knights of Ren? The dudes that were with him and then eventually turned on him.
Well, not just that. We never really saw them do anything.
No, they were just kind
Like
of.
he took
They
them
just-
out like nothing.
Yeah, and they'll walk into the room, they'll stop for their hero pose for the camera,
Right.
and then it
Yeah.
just continues the
But
scene.
yet they're marching with him like they're badasses.
Yeah.
And they were nothing.
They were trying to be the ring race without being Bone.
From,
There you go.
That's what they were.
from what I understand, in the books and stuff, and
Right.
cartoons and comics and whatever, their role with Kylo Ren is huge. Like,
Okay.
there's a whole other storyline within the Knights of Ren that could be its own 3-part movie.
Uh-huh.
Will we get that?
Maybe.
I don't know. But, anyways. All I know is this thing's freaking pro.
Yeah. It is.
This was $50.
Yeah. This was an expensive movie for you.
Put your popcorn in there. It's got a little door in the back.
Yeah. Butt flap.
Get your popcorn out.
You know how loud that's going to be?
Oh, it's gonna be loud.
Yeah. Definitely.
Anyway,
Your beverage goes in here, and there's a place to put a straw through the head.
yeah.
So if I had to say in conclusion, I'm going to say I enjoyed it, but I'm disappointed.
Would you go see it again in theater?
No,
No, me
I
either.
wouldn't go see it again in theater. Obviously, I'm going to buy it when it hits, Blu-ray because I gotta have the collection. But I'm very disappointed.
Did you see any of the other Star Wars movies from this 3 more than once in theaters?
No,
Did you?
I've seen them all in theater, but
I've seen it. I saw the first one 3 times in theaters.
dang,
Second one once. This one once, and I would not see this one again in theaters.
I wouldn't. But that's the best way to say it. I enjoyed the film, but I'm very disappointed.
I think the criticisms online are fair.
I haven't read any, so I can't comment.
I
on
read
that.
a few.
What did you think about the 3D aspect of this? Because we thought that we saw this in 3D. Do you think they went out of their way to make it
No.
in your face 3D?
No, they didn't really cater to the 3D audience.
I think
I thought it was well done.
I think it was added on.
You think? Oh, you mean what they did
I think
intentionally to be?
No,
3D?
I think they just shot what they wanted to do,
Yeah.
and then in post they added the 3D
I
or the
agree.
parts they
I thought
could've.
it was pretty good. It wasn't annoying. I didn't feel out of place with
Right.
it. It didn't give me a headache or anything like that. I thought it was good. Any other comments on this movie?
Just a disappointment. I really wanted a better storyline-driven conclusion, and I think after being involved with this, with these movies for as long as I have, I think that's what most fans going into this wanted or thought that they deserved. But instead, it was just all overshadowed with non-stop explosions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted more storyline. To me, there's still too many loose ends.
A lot of loose ends.
Do you think someone other than J.J. Abrams could have done a better job with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to see Christopher Nolan's version.
That would be completely different than anything we've ever seen.
Pretty dark.
Yeah.
I think it would be It'd be interesting.
I don't think it'd be a Star Wars movie. It'd be so much different.
It'd be interesting to see Quentin Tarantino's version of
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Here's something. A stormtrooper finally shot someone when Poe got shot in the arm. I almost wanted to stand up and say they finally got someone.
Yeah, I did notice that
Worst
too.
Because,
ever.
man, they are the worst soldiers ever.
They have the
They
shooting
never
percentage
hit
of,
anything.
And
one
why
person
do they
can take
wear
out
the
100.
armor?
The armor's useless.
Have you ever seen a
Yeah, it's true.
stormtrooper take a hit and keep going?
Yeah.
Against blasters, they're absolutely useless.
Weatherman. Gotta get that rain off.
Heck, I don't know.
What do you think about the red ones near the end?
Well, very cool looking armor, but again, useless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
useless.
absolutely useless. What's the
It was
point
to
of the
try to
armor?
differentiate them a little bit.
Yeah.
These are
Sith.
the Sith ones.
Stormtroopers.
They're pretty cool, but give me the white ones any day of the week.
But yeah, conclusion, the showdown with Rey and Palpatine was absolutely a dud. Complete dud.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Disappointing.
built and was absolutely fell flat. The fact that she was his granddaughter also fell flat for me as well. You know, and him wanting her to kill him and she resists only to kill him 5 minutes later. You know,
I thought
the whole thing just came off as corny.
I thought generally all of the lightsaber battles in this movie were pretty garbage. And when you think back about the 3 in the early 2000s, and
Right.
even in
No,
the
like
first
they
movie,
were really choreographed in
Yes.
the first 3.
These
These ones
were-
just look. They basically just told her just keep swinging overhead smashes.
2 7-year-olds with fake
and
swords fighting.
they had Adam Driver's character like turn around backwards and go like this a couple times.
Yeah.
And
It was
it was not like they did not put the effort in that the first 3 did of choreographing.
because they were pretty good.
Like say what you want about the first 3 movies, their lightsaber battles are really well done.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well done actually. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
No, I was disappointed.
It was fine.
It was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been better.
All right, so I guess that wraps it up. Thanks, guys, for listening and watching. We really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. Maybe we'll. Would you guys be interested in doing movie reviews in the future?
Definitely.
Is that a no?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Well, we gotta review this Star Trek series.
Yeah.
So yeah, hope you can join us. Hope you're having a good day. And yeah, thanks again. We'll catch you later. Adios.